Hello everyone, I am Doodlemans86 and today I am going to be reviewing the Shimo with Frostbite Blast. So I recently held a community poll in my community tab asking you all which you would like to see first, and you all voted for Shimo, so Shimo is the first guy up to review. I found all of these guys at Target, which I think is really cool that they're no longer just Walmart exclusives. I think that makes them much easier to find, but they're still selling like hotcakes, so finding them still isn't that easy. So without further ado, let's start out with the box. So here we have the 6-inch box, which I have already shown off, but this time it's not broken. This time it's all assembled and definitely new condition. So here we have Shimo with Frostbite Blast, the Godzilla X Kong branding, and the crystals. The cool pink packaging looks so cool. And you have these really neat renders, especially Godzilla's. So plot synopsis, and then we have a synopsis of the monster, and then we have the rest of the lineup. I found all of these guys except Zuko. Seems like he either hasn't released yet or is just very difficult to find, which I'm hoping is not the latter. So there's the bottom, and then yeah, that's the box for you. So here we have 6-inch Shimo in all his greatness. So this is a new original Titan who hasn't been revealed in anything yet besides the figures. As far as I know, this will be an antagonist in the movie, which is really cool. And I really love this design. I didn't go into too much depth with the minifigure because I was waiting to get this guy because, you know, he's bigger. But I like how he looks like a cross between a How to Train Your Dragon and a Pacific Rim kaiju. He looks like he's in the middle, and I think that's really nice. If it's something the Monsterverse has always done right, is the original monsters. Like from the Mutos to the Skullcrawler to the Ion Dragon to this guy, they all just slap so hard, and this is beautiful. I mean, the little crown made of crystals on his head, the shark-like face, it's just so cool. And I really love the tail spikes, but we'll go over everything one at a time. So here at the face, we have the beak-like mouth, sort of, and there's a lot of spikes on the front of his face, and those are his teeth, and they're actually individually sculpted and painted, which I think is so cool. It just makes it look so much better. But he is very white. I'm not sure if he's gonna have like grays or blues in the movie, but here he is. Cyan eyes, and the little crown of crystals is just so awesome. It's just so cool, and it's translucent too, just like the back, which I think is so cool. We have a lot of fins and a lot of scale and armor plating here at the bottom. Seems to be on all fours. Not sure if he can go up on both legs or not in the movie, but there he is. Huge, long limbs. I mean, they're really long. Then we have the body, which kind of looks like a pear. And then the back spikes, which are symmetrical, as you can see, and they're translucent. They just look so gorgeous. And in person, they almost look purple even, which I think looks so cool. Like under this lighting, it's like dark blue with a hint of purple, which I think is just so nice. And the shininess of it too is so cool as well. And then the little legs back here, because they're much smaller, less longer than the front arms. Then we have the tail here with some scales and armor. Then we have this awesome tail spikes. And even the tip of his tail is like a crystal tip, which is just so cool. And I like how they're like elevated above these front spikes. That's just such a neat detail. And I like how this design contradicts Godzilla. The white to the black, the blue to his now pink. Same thing with Scar King, from his red to Kong's brown. That's just such beautiful symmetry. And a good design is one you can recognize from its shadow alone. And for sure, you're going to be able to recognize Shimo. This is a really cool figure. I do adore the sculpt and paint. It is genuinely fantastic for a $10 toy. So moving on to the articulation, we do have pretty good posability. So we have a hinge at the jaw, which it opens up that wide. I mean, wow. If he can do that in the movie, then he's going to be chopping off heads with that mouth. Then at the neck, we have a hinge and a swivel that goes 360, and he can hinge up and down at any direction. So little head nod, party time. And then it's the same deal at the shoulders and the hips. He has a hinge, but he can also swivel, so you can hinge it out at any given point. We have a swivel at the wrist here, and then swivels at the ankles. And of course there's the swivel here. And I'm sorry, I kind of lied. There is no hinge back here. It's just the swivel. So I didn't even realize that until now. And then we have a pretty smooth ball joint tail. It's a short tail, but still moves pretty good. So overall, I do like the articulation, and it's not that bad. It's pretty good articulation for big old Shimo here. As said on the box, we get an accessory, and that is the Frostbite Blast, which it's interesting to me that it's a different color than his back. Like, this is a lot more of a cyan blue. This is a lot more of an indigo, so not sure if it's like that in the movie, but it is interesting to see it in the figure. So here's the blast, and of course, thank God it's not reused from any previous figures. This is a brand new sculpt with a cool looking side breath effect part coming out of the mouth. The little tips of icicles at the end here. It's a really nice blast. It just looks so cool. It looks like crystals, if I'm gonna be honest. It looks pretty neat. Thankfully, it also goes on in his mouth easier. So all you just gotta do is that. And of course you want to close the mouth because, you know, you don't want to make it look like he's just not doing anything. And look at that. That's just so cool. That looks really nice. Getting into the size of Shimo, he stands at 4 inches tall. But from head to tail, it's a different story. He is about basically 9 inches. So not 6 inches tall standing. But you can stand him on his legs. At least I think you can. I haven't actually tried that until now. Okay, well, if you want to do that, there's that. And then he would clock in at about 7 inches. Wow, that is quite the height increase if I've ever seen one. So whether or not this was size accurate to the actual movie, I think it's not, obviously, as we have seen with Scar King and Kong, because presumably he's going to be bigger. So let's get into the size comparisons with some fellow GXK members. Looking really neat together. They're pretty cool figures. Heavy upgrades. Much better than the GVK ones. And speaking of which, here they are next to those guys. Wonderful creations of the Monsterverse, indeed. And here are some monster arts and the Hiya Godzilla. Hoping we get some reveals for articulated Shimo. That would just go so hard. That would be a work of art. And then here are some random figures in my collection. So when it comes to good old Shimo, is the $10 worth it? I say yes. The crystals are really nice with the translucency, and they're not exactly a light blue. Like I said, they're kind of like a purplish color. And then he comes with the Frostbite Blast, which is really neat. And the overall presence and sculpt of this guy is just so nice. He's just a really nice figure to have, and I'm sure that better figures will be made in the future. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But this guy is pretty good for now. And he stands really nice next to the other Playmates figures. And I'm not sure what he's going to do in the movie, but I'm excited to see it regardless. And this figure definitely hypes that up. So I'd say he's definitely one of the must-haves of this wave. He's really cool, pretty nice, pretty chill. Overall, this figure is great. I recommend picking him up if you can. And yeah, that would be the review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.